Yo, what's up, geeks and nerds? It's your boy Dr. Geekly here, and welcome to Geeking Out Loud, the safe haven for all geeks and nerds, where we talk about comics, movies, games, anime, all that geeky nerdy stuff. And if you're like our geeky nerdy content, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And today with us, we got a special guest with us today, a very special voice actor. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and some of his various roles, numerous roles, and we're gonna get down to it.
Hey, my name is Luis Bermudez. I am a professional voice actor. I've been lucky to be in a lot of video games, anime, cartoons. You may have seen me in you may have seen me in Final Fantasy Dawn Trail as Kona. You may have seen me in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as Sunny Liquor. DC Dark Legion as Bane. Invisible Fight Girl. I've totally spaced that one as well. I'm M. Brendan in Invisible Fight Girl. We did a little bit of prep before this, and I had to kind of remember what I had done myself. But yeah, I'm M. Brandon in Invincible Fight Girl, which is one of my favorite projects to date. But yeah, I'm in a lot of things, and I'm very happy to be able to pay my bills doing this.
Right. So what? We'll get right into it. What is it like playing on the Go-Go Loser Rangers?
Oh, as Ron Maru, that show was super fun.
I bet.
First of all, I love how it kind of takes the whole Super Sentai genre and just kind of flips it on its head. The idea, because like in reality, the Super Sentai, right? They're kind of intergalactic cops,
Yeah.
right? They take care of these cosmic threats that come down to Earth, and there's no question in your mind that these are the good guys. And then Gogo really twists that on its head and really puts into perspective what could happen if these kinds of people with unchecked power were not the best kinds of people, and what if monsters were just like us. So I love that show. I love my buddy Zeno and Paul Castro Jr., who are both on it, who lead it. They're phenomenal. I loved getting to work with Michael Sinzer Nicholas and Stephanie Shea, who directed and kind of put that whole thing together. Anytime I get to work with NYAV, it's an awesome time. Um, yeah, Ron Maru's he's a fun little character. I hope I get to do more with him, but I'll be honest, I'm not too up to date on the manga, and I think he's still in a coma. So
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
we'll see if he gets to come back and do something cool. But
right.
that cool little he got a cool little hero moment right
He
before
had it. He
he
had his moment. He had his time to shine.
yeah.
How was it? Okay, what can you tell us about how did you get into DC's Dark Legion as Bane?
Oh man. Bane is such a huge character for me just because I'm such a huge comic book nerd. If you
Mm-hmm.
could see my shelves if I had a camera in here that worked, if you could see my shelves behind me, I have like wall to wall DC omnibuses and Marvel omnibuses and Ninja Turtle
Mm.
omnibuses. Like I've been a comic nerd my whole life. Um and Bane is such an important character for those who don't know to the Batman mythos. He's
He
really
broke the bats.
he's really the first guy that Batman ever just like straight up loses to.
Mm-hmm.
And not even just like on a physical level, on a mental level. This guy wears him out over the course of months. Um, and so when I got the auditions on my desk, with video games you never know. It's either you get too much information up front or you get nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
And with Bane, much like everything else I've gotten, there was like nothing at all, and just the words that he had to say. And they were like, well, he's gonna be, a Latin American man, Cuban
Mm-hmm.
accented. And I start reading through the sides, and I go, this is Bane. I was just like, this. It's a kid who was abandoned on an island.
Oh,
He's brought up in a prison. His mother was killed before his eyes. I'm like, this is okay. This is Bane. I
this is
know.
this is absolutely Bane. I hope it's
Yeah,
Bane.
yeah. I was like, if it's not Bane, I'm playing it like it's Bane because it sounds like he's growing up in Peñaduro. It sounds like you know what I mean. Like it sounds exactly like who I've
Bane,
come
yeah.
to know in the comics. And so I did my best version of who I feel that character is, and I was lucky to work on it. Kal El Bogdanov, who, is an amazing friend and also an amazing voice director and director in general. Also, the son of John Bogdanov, who wrote or sorry, not wrote. He did all of the art, or a good amount of the art for the original Man of Steel series. Which, if you guys again are not in the know, that was like leading up and taking time or taking space during the original Death and Return of Superman arc.
Mm-hmm.
So he was one of the guys who sat in a room and kind of came up with this idea of what happens if we kill Superman, and helped create Doomsday. And I think one of his characters that he created during the Reign of Superman arc was Henry Steele,
Yeah.
and one of my favorite enduring characters from that era. So getting to work with Cal kind of in extension was awesome, because it was just like we spoke the same language, we knew the guy the same way, and it was awesome. It was a really good time. I loved getting to work with
I'm
that
about to
guy.
say it seemed like a good time, man. Like when you said it seemed like you know your stuff. You said like you're a comic book nerd, and when you said, "Oh, this must be Bane," if you're not, you're playing Bane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, you never know who you're getting auditions for, and so you just kind of have to
You got to
throw.
brainstorm before you think about it.
Yeah, you got to throw something in the wind and hope it sticks, because there's no. If you're uncertain about it going in, or you're not like, who is this? What is this about? Where, what am I doing? If you go in doing that, they're gonna hear it in the audition tape. And so I made a very clear decision to be like, this is Bane. I'm going to read this as if it's Bane. And if it's not Bane and I'm wrong, okay, somebody else will get it. But
Mm-hmm.
if it is Bane, then I've just knocked it out of the park. And even if it isn't Bane, they're still going to hear that I know how to do my job. They're still going to hear me making choices and being a solid performer.
Right.
Whereas if I'm just like, could this be Carlito Kies? Could this be some other dangerous Latino American I've never heard about? Then I'm gonna sound uncertain. I'm gonna sound
You're gonna sound like a Bane, like related character, even if it
yeah,
ain't Bane.
yeah. The Timu Bane of
The
if we want to
Timu
call
to
it that.
Kmart Bane.
Yeah, exactly,
uh,
exactly.
what can you tell us about your time on Street Fighter Six?
Oh man, that was Street Fighter. Okay, so Street Fighter Six is one of the first big things I booked with my agent,
Mm-hmm.
which is I tentatively is kind of like when my career was really kind of getting started. I still live in Vegas now, but I was lucky to land with my agency CESD in Los Angeles several months prior to that, and I'd been with them for about half a year. Um, and things were going slow, and I was just kind of worried about my place in this industry and worried about whether or not I had what it took to kind of really compete with the big boys out here. And again, you get a set of sides across your desk where you're like, I am given nothing about who this character is. They're telling me he's some kind of tour guide, that he has electricity powers. Is it Raiden? No. He really loves his mom. This is Blanca.
Just a
Um, so again, it was one of those moments where it was just like, okay, they're saying how he has a voice somewhere between the Wolfman from He-Man and Scooby Doo. Okay, got it. So there's innocence here. There's a little bit of rough and tumble. Let me just play that. And yeah, I was I was lucky to be correct. And that was the first job I ever actually had to drive out to Los Angeles for
mm-hmm.
and record with. I drove out to Jonathan Klein, his studio. He's the director, producer, the guy behind New Generation Pictures, who does a ton of stuff with Capcom, Monster Hunter Wilds, Street Fighter, so much stuff. Um, Dead Rising remake. I worked with him on that as well. And yeah, it was. Everyone always asked me like, "Oh man, did that hurt your voice?" And it was just like, actually, more than anything, it hurt my back, because you have to get so physically into it. Because Blanca's not. He doesn't do anything at like 5 or 6. It's all 10 and 12. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So you have to just like send it, and your body gets in that with you, and it's very easy to throw out your back, which I learned a couple times.
You learned a
Um,
couple of times, not
couple
once, a couple.
Yeah, a couple times that lesson was taught to me. First time wasn't solid enough. So the second and third time had to be, they had to really hammer it home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was cool, man. It was great working with Jonathan. I mean, he was just such a sweet guy. Like he found out that I was kind of green and was like, "Oh man, have you ever driven around LA and like seen the sights or anything big?" And I was like, "Not really." And he's like, "Well, you don't have a lot of time before you have to drive back out. Let's go get just like a hot dog or something." And so we went to Koreatown. We got a Korean fusion hot dog. We ate it on the hood of his car, and we just shot the shit for a while. And I mean, just like one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. Um,
Right.
and it was really cool. I have very fond memories of recording for that project.
Like, so you've recorded various roles in Capcom, then, correct?
Yes, yes, I'm very lucky that they keep bringing me back. Yeah.
What is some of your favorite ones? I know Street Fighter is one of them, but what is some of your favorite one like projects, memories from Capcom that you've experienced?
Oh man, Capcom are such cool people to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing the breadth of like insane like things like when you look back at like a studio's line of work, it's very easy to be like, oh, Naughty Dog, like The Last of Us, Crash Bandicoot, or Sony Santa Monica Studios, oh, God of War. But like Capcom is like banger after banger after banger. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
huge legacy titles. And so that is one thing. They just for a long time, I think from like the 80s, early 2000s, they had a real finger on the pulse of what gamers wanted to see and play. You know what I mean? And everything from Resident Evil up to Jesus, Dino Crisis. Is
Mm-hmm.
that the where the dinosaurs fall out of the sky? I
I'm
mean,
pretty
just
sure.
crazy stuff, crazy stuff. Um, and so I've gotten to work with them a couple of times, and every time it's just come in, we want to honor the original work as much as possible, but we want you to feel free to do your own thing. And so with
Mm-hmm.
Carlito and Dead Rising remake, or Dead Rising Deluxe remaster, sorry, they added so many more letters than I'm used to. I got to listen to the original performer's performance, and I mean, he did an amazing job. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of the actors in the original game did an amazing job, but it was very much like, okay, well, we need to match timing because the animation's already rendered, but we want you to do your own thing. And so that was really cool. And then most recently in Monster Hunter Wilds, my favorite thing about that was that I got to play these little creatures called Wudwuds. They're like Monster Hunter Ewoks. They're the funniest little guys. They speak in like broken speech, and they're they're like Stitch almost from Lilo and
Oh
Stitch.
God.
But I love them. They're just funny little guys, man.
They're
And
just okay. They're like little gremlins. They're chaotic, but they look like
yeah,
Ewok type characters.
yeah, yeah. And they just like want to trade with you. They just want to get the good stuff that you have, and they'll give you
Oh,
like
so they're like them little things off Star Wars. You know what
yeah,
I'm talking about them.
Houdini. Those guys. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what they are. They like to take things and just like here, take it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Minus the violent stealing aspect, I think, of the Utini, but
Yeah.
but they do. But I mean, they just like to trade and engage in commerce. Like they're just these cool little funky guys, and they sleep in cocoons.
They sleep in
Um,
cocoons.
yeah, they eat food really loudly and noisily. Like so that was a lot of fun. Getting because the last couple times. Like John, he never brings me in for the same thing twice. I've noticed.
Right.
First, it was this crazy monster man who's green, and then it was this menacing, dark, world-destroying villain, and then
Mhm.
it was a little fuzzy guy. So I'm a big fan of the range that they've allowed me to explore in their titles, I
You've
guess.
seen your potential and all that from the
Yeah,
various roles.
yeah, exactly.
Uh, now I've been told that you were in Genshin Impact, correct? In Yakuza game.
Oh my god, a dozen times I've been in Genshin Impact. Yeah. And yes, Yakuza, the recent re-release for Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, with Genshin, that's always fun getting to work with Chris.
Hmm.
And it's another one of those games where I'm brought in to kind of uh work on these characters that kind of exist in the background but tend to have at least some story involvement. I think the last guy recorded before the video game strike happened was Nkunga.
Hmm.
And he was just such a badass. And he had so little lines, but like he kind of establishes that this character that you're being introduced to, this new character, this new banner character, right? Um, is a badass herself and like needs to be respected, and how he's going into this fight with her fully aware that like other people are underestimating her, and he's like, no, I'm gonna beat the brakes off of you, but I expect you to do the same to me, because that's what we're here to do, and I respect other warriors, you know.
It's
um
like Goku for real.
yeah, exactly.
Like
um
like you're strong. Let's fight.
yeah, just the love of the fight, which I don't personally understand. I
Yeah.
don't want to get hit in the face ever.
Right.
But that guy, he was all about it. um but yeah, and then other times I've played uh uh director for like a theater troupe, so I got to get really boisterous and flamboyant with him. And another time I was a young guy who was sick, and it's just again another one of those projects where you get to play a lot of characters back to back, and you have to try to find where they kind of lie in yourself so that they feel honest and genuine and grounded in reality, but also make them not sound or act or behave at all like each other, so that somebody can't go, hey, that's that guy again.
Yeah.
It's what I call work that suspends disbelief, right? If you're
Right.
in a game for 4 or 5 hours, however long you play, right? The last thing you want is some schmuck doing the same voice twice in a row, or the same performance twice in a row, and pulling you out of it and reminding you that you're in a video game and you got to go to the bathroom and eat or whatever else you got to
Yeah.
do. So yeah, and
What?
Yakuza was again the same stuff. I mean, there's Yakuza games are always fun because they're 90% NPCs. I mean, it's like thousands and thousands. I mean, I don't know how I don't know how or where they're sourcing all the actors for these games, because there's so many every single game. But I played I think a homeless guy who first blackmails Kiryu to get him some alcohol,
Hmm.
and then later helps him hide from some people who were trying to kill him. So, a good guy of dubious intent, but like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's when you start off with I played a homeless guy. It's like, oh.
yeah,
then,
yeah.
then he
Especially
helped.
in a Yakuza game,
Exactly. It's like, oh, a Yakuza game, a homeless man. There's something going on with them.
Yeah,
But
there's one of three things that he does usually,
right,
because Yakuza. I mean, I've been a fan of the Yakuza series for a while, especially what is the like offshoot to it? Not Limitless.
mm,
The other guy. But I love the series. Oh,
yeah.
did you remember?
No, no. I was hoping you did, but
Dang it!
but
But
no.
yeah.
It's what's it called? I also heard like how is the Final Fantasy game like?
Oh, did you mean the Crisis Core remake or
Yes, but any
okay.
of them, like, cause you've been in some, so it's like I want to know what it's like working for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in I think maybe all three of the Final Fantasy sevens so far. I don't know. I can't quite remember. I think I was in the original remake for the first Final Fantasy seven,
Mm-hmm.
and then I know I was in the Crisis Core remake, and then I think I'm in the Crisis Core remake 2. And I have one recurring character in that. It's the guy who takes a picture of Sephiroth and the crew right before they go up to the mansion. So that's like my
Man,
claim to fame in that series. But I mean, dude, like being like 7 years old and playing Final Fantasy 7 and like trying your damnedest to beat Omega Weapon, and
oh
and like
God,
Yeah, man. Like to grow up and be, in my 30s and being able to come back into that series and play somebody that I recognize from my time playing it. Um it's huge. It's huge. Like 90% of the stuff that I'm in is stuff that like was just kind of in my vicinity as a kid, and it's amazing cuz like you never expect.
You never
um
expect it. It's like expect the unexpected. But like you said, you were passionate about these things, and then you get to
yeah,
be in this and bring your passion to the roles.
exactly. Yeah. And you just like you never planned to have your life revolve around this kind of stuff, but you just kind of pick up on the fact that all the things that were meaningful to you are the things you kind of end up gravitating towards. It's really really cool. Really
Uh,
grateful.
what is like? I heard that you were also in a few comedy shows, like The Simpsons and a few others.
Yeah, I did, dude. The Simpsons was a crazy call to receive, just because
Was
it's like,
it?
I mean, yeah, it's The Simpsons. I mean, uh, I was just kind of sitting around as I usually am when I find out that I've booked something, but for this one, I get a call from my agent. He's just like, "Hey, you're gonna be doing some Walla for The Simpsons," and then he continued talking about what that was going to entail, and I completely zoned out because I heard Simpsons, and I remember asking him like, "The Simpsons, like the show?"
The
And he's
show?
like, and he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "The one on Fox TV," and he's like, "Uh huh."
Squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. I had to be like, we're not doing like a Simpsons game. We're not doing like a Simpsons mobile
We're
thing. Like this
doing
is
The
yeah, I
Simpsons.
was like, this is the Simpsons. So yeah, it was super fun. I got to sit down with a few of my friends actually. I think my buddy Emmy was there. I think my buddy Rachel was there. And we're all doing it remote, right? But we're all sitting there kind of waiting for these cues to come up on screen so that we can react as the crowd around the crowd around Homer, the crowd around Meg, or whoever was on screen at the time, reacting to what they were doing, and it was just a lot of fun. We got to in one scene we played again the homeless people outside of this like fundraising event trying to get in to get free food, and then that same scene we played the rich people disgusted with them being in the venue and
How
just
dare
being
they?
hoity-toity about it. Yeah, it's so funny, man. It's such a good show, and it's amazing how poignant it still is, and how
Did
like
did you hear out of curiosity about Marge Don?
Mars Dawn. I don't think so.
Marge she died in The Simpsons. The
Oh,
mother.
Marge died. Okay.
Yeah, the mother just recently died in one of the episodes. And it was wild because the husband, Homer, he he is in a nursing home right now, and Bart take care of him. The sister is like the congresswoman,
Oh my god.
and it's like it was a sad story. And I'm like, you can't kill off one of the Simpsons.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's
That's
wild.
what
That's like killing off one of the Golden Girls.
that's what I'm saying. It's like you're killing off Betty White
Yeah, how dare
straight
you,
up, and it's
man.
like, and she just recently died, and we still haven't recovered from that. But
That's
no,
crazy.
but no, like when I seen that you were in the Simpsons, I was like, these Simpsons.
Yeah, yeah. That was my reaction as well. Yeah.
What is some of the other various like kind of like sitcom animated shows you were in?
Man, a few. There's some who've unfortunately gone the way of the dodo, and I can't talk about because they never got made, which is very
Right.
sad.
Yeah.
But there was oh dear God. Uh,
What's it called?
let's pull up the IMDb.
Yeah, that's straight up.
I've got mine in front of me.
Grimsburg.
Oh, Grimsburg is so cool. Grimsburg, it's with John Hamm, people like Alan Tudyk, who are like, oh man, amazing, amazing performers. Those they all kind of spawn from the same place, believe it or not. Like,
Oh.
um, I got a call one day again from my agent, and he was like, "Hey, we have these like table reads going on for these animated shows. that are going to be produced for various places. Couple are going to be on Netflix, couple are going to be on Fox TV, and he's like, no guarantee that it'll turn into a role, but we have a casting director who's heard your auditions a couple times and has liked it, and is wondering if you wouldn't mind coming in and reading for some of these characters. And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. So I show up, and I think it's going to be a bunch of other voice actors doing scratch audio for the big names who are going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And I show up to record for Grimsburg, and there's Alan Tudyk, and there's John Hamm, and all these other people who I like never expected and to work with, at least for the next 5 to 10 years. And it's crazy. Like, I'm getting to bounce off of them and play these crazy characters in these wild scenarios. And they were so kind and so nice enough to bring me back for a couple of episodes of the actual first season, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I got to meet my friend Zara Fazal on that show. She now plays Wonder Woman in the Suicide Squad game, which is freaking dope.
Right.
Peter Michael, I got to meet him, who is just, if you've never heard of him, he's a vocal chameleon. That guy can do and sound like anybody and anything.
Damn.
So it's just, for me, it's always about like the caliber of the project isn't a big deal. The caliber of the role isn't a big deal. It's more about what I get to do and the people I get to work with.
That's what I figured. Like, I figured like the vibes y'all pull, like it's like chemistry vibe, like how y'all go back to back.
Right. And especially because, like, if you're working with people who are that good at their jobs, you get kind of elevated no matter what, just off of what they're doing in the booth. You know what I mean? And so when I went from Grimsburg to Good Times for Netflix, I got directed by Cree Summer for two very small roles, Captain Acevedo and then this biker guy. And I mean, that session literally took 10 minutes because the second I got there, Cree was just, it was Cree Summer is one of my heroes. If you don't know who she is, she's one of the eminent voices in the entire industry. She's a genius. She deserves 20 Hollywood stars on the Walk of Fame. And we got in, and she was so nice. She introduced herself. She asked me about who I was, and she said, "Okay, you ready to go?" And I was just like, "Yeah, sure." And it was like trying to keep up with lightning. I mean, she knew exactly what she wanted. She knew exactly what she wanted to hear come out of my mouth. And so it was just trying to anticipate what she needed and then trying to keep up. And it was amazing working at that level with somebody who just really knew their shit.
Right.
And that's, I think, my favorite thing about working on some of these like adult animated shows is that you really are... You're expected to show up with your A game and knock it out of the park and just kind of go. There's no time for you to kind of doubt yourself. There's no time for you to kind of go, oh, do I really belong here? I've done a lot of anime and like JRPGs. Like, am I really an actor who's of this kind of caliber? And you don't have time for that. You just have to go.
You got to jump in.
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, you got to go. You got to make it fast. You got to make it snappy, make it funny, and then get out so the next guy can get in and do their thing. And it was awesome. It was an amazing learning experience. Especially because, like, with Western animation, it's so much more pared down than like anything else that's like produced in the East, like anime or like JRPGs. I find that like with JRPGs and with anime, it's much more theatrical. In the sense that like the energy is dialed up so that everybody in the back seats can hear it, right? And everything is kind of elevated to a place where it's almost not believable, but it still works.
Right.
Which I love getting to do, and I love that acting style. But it's a trip to go from doing that predominantly to something where it's like, okay, do almost nothing and that will be hilarious. Do almost nothing and that will work.
Yeah.
You know? It's crazy. It's so good.
I'm about to say, like, I bet it's a lot different, I feel like, the Western animation from what you're, like, kind of used to.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's why I loved working on Invincible Fight Girl, because it was kind of this marriage of the two worlds. I got to be very serious and grounded and kind of held up in reality with who M. Brandon was, especially because like me and him as a character and as a person, we're not very far off, right?
Right.
We both kind of come from this, you know, abusive kind of household,
Yeah.
and we're both siblings, and we want to protect our other siblings. Um, and so I got to kind of really ground M. Brandon in who I was as a person, but also I got to do these crazy battle call outs like I was in an anime. And it was, I mean, it's the show and the product that Justin Gordon Montgomery put together, and that the cast that Sarah Jane Sherman put together, Anjali Bhimani, Paul Castro Jr. I mean, like, just amazing, amazing people that got to work and make that show. And it's, I hope that we get a second and a third and a fourth and a fifth season,
I mean,
because
yeah.
I'd really love to sink my teeth into that world and see what it has to offer. But if the one season was all we get, you know, it was magical, man. We got to
Yeah,
do something really
exactly.
special.
I was about to ask you how your time was with Invincible Fight Girl, because I recently watched that not too long ago. It was good.
It's, oh man, it's one of my favorite things that I've like been in.
Mhm.
It's just like because a lot of the stuff I'm in, I don't have time to really like jump into, or there's not the interest there, because sometimes you just, you know, you take a
You
job
do it,
because,
and then it's like, okay, cool.
yeah, I love the work that I get to do in it, but it's
Yeah.
not, you know, it's not 100% something I'm personally interested in or have the time
Yeah.
to really sink my teeth into. With animation, I've been a friggin' cartoon nerd my whole life.
Yeah.
So to one be in something that was produced by the original Cartoon Network studios, even
Mm,
if it ended up on Adult Swim, like that's crazy to me that I got to do
right.
something with the original Cartoon Network studios crew. Um, and again, man, the cast that was put together for this, Sydney Michaela as Andy is like, she's our hero and our guiding light, and she knocked it out of the
She
park.
is our hope.
Yeah, man. Rolanda Watts, who played Aunt P,
Hmm.
like a force of nature, man. Like she's somewhere between Pervy Sensei from Naruto,
Oh.
and like Aunt Viv almost from Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Like
Oh.
it's amazing. Like she gets to be this wonderful mother figure, but also this hard ass who like
Oh.
you almost wonder, is there anything I can learn from this person? And then you find out they're the baddest
It's like
person
Medea
around.
for real. Like it's like you could be several things. You could be Tyler Perry's Medea.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's so good. It's so good. And again, Justin Gordon Montgomery, he really knew what he wanted it to be. He knew that, you know, he loved the world of wrestling, and he
Mhm.
loved the world of animation, and he loved the world of anime, and he really just wanted to marry those three things together. And it's not 100% anime, right? It's not 100% a Western animation, and it's not 100% about wrestling, but
Right.
it's all of the ingredients of it that matter, I think.
And then you throw in Chemical X from Powerpuff Girls, and boom, it's like,
Exactly. Exactly, man.
man.
It's so good. We had Keith David in as a character, plays
Oh,
Scouter. I mean, one of my like, dude, Keith David, I think is one of my like all time heroes.
he
Especially, I
is
mean,
the OG.
yeah, dude, Goliath from Gargoyles, like
Hmm.
that's the first thing that comes to mind for me. But he's done so much stuff from
Exactly. There's not even like
Adventure
I can't
Time.
even
I
do a
mean,
top three.
yeah,
And
and he just got a star on Hollywood, which is amazing. I love that for him. But yeah, an amazing, amazing show, and I hope and pray we get like 100 more seasons, because I think it's something the world needs right now.
I mean, that is something the world needs, especially in our times. But you said you were a nerd from back in the day, or still is
Right.
to this day. What is your top three heroes and comics that you love from Marvel or DC?
Oh, okay. Number one is easy. It's Batman.
Okay.
Batman all the way. I've been a huge fan of him my entire life. Ever since the first thing was obviously the animated show.
Yes.
And I mean, again, kind of like right above my library, behind me. I have an actual animated cell from the first episode that Poison Ivy appears. I think it's like episode 4 or 5 of the first season.
Yeah.
I have an animation cell, like an official one from WB that has the paperwork on the back of it, because I loved that show so much.
Right.
And I loved Kevin Conroy so
Yeah.
much. He I think is, if we're talking about my heroes, man, that guy is the top of the list as well.
Oh yeah.
Because
Cause damn.
yeah, I mean, talk about a career where like he didn't play a lot of different roles.
But
Not
he
for
was significant though. He was
yeah,
significant in certain roles. Like if you heard it, it's like Keith David. If you heard some of the voices
yeah,
for the cartoons,
yeah,
then you instantly know who they were. That shows
yeah.
the impact they had on you.
Right. It was him, like Peter Cullen, Clancy Brown, like the voices that you recognized, right? But his was so defined for me as Batman.
Like you
And
hear that in the dark, you know your ass
yeah,
about to hit.
yeah. I mean, he was just a force of nature. And it's one of my greatest regrets that I never got to meet him or have him sign
Right.
anything for me or shake his hand and tell him what he meant to me. But
Right.
I recently got to do a class with Andrea Romano, who was the casting director and director for that show, alongside Bruce Timm and Paul
Oh.
Dini, and she was amazing. And I got to just kind of hear her talk about Kevin, and I wept like a baby.
Uh,
But so the animated show obviously means a lot to me.
right.
It carried me through a lot of dark moments of my childhood. And then eventually I landed on the video game series, Arkham.
And then you
Arkham
got to break
series.
the bats.
And then yeah, dude, talk about full circle, you know.
Right.
I'm in this industry because of the influence of people like Kevin Conroy, but to kind of be able to be in my favorite universe with my favorite characters as a character that affects him so deeply,
It
huge.
makes you like in your heart, you're like a fangirl, like, oh my god, I just broke the bats.
Yeah, man. So yeah, number 1, Batman. Number 2, probably Daredevil on the Marvel side.
Yes.
I love Daredevil. I love specifically Frank Miller's run. I feel like that's when the character switched from being kind of a joke to a fully fledged character.
Yeah, like pulling punches, but you were just like your hospital bill is gonna kill you type punches.
Yeah, man. I mean, also like just like the way Frank Miller wrote Kingpin. He went from this, you know, I'm a person of size myself, and like Kingpin before Frank Miller takes over is just like this big fat guy, and he's kind of like he's rich and he's fat, and that's the whole character.
Yeah.
And he shakes his fist in the air and says Daredevil, and that's kind of it. But Frank Miller, there's this like first panel where he really draws who he feels the Kingpin should be, and all these shadows kind of fall across his face, and the character just snaps into place as one of the coldest, hardest motherfuckers that's ever lived.
Right.
And it's, oh man, it's some of my favorite comic book reading I've ever gotten to do. So definitely Daredevil. And then a number 3. If I'm being honest, it's probably Jason Todd, Red Hood. I love the story that he kind of goes through, all the way from like a lonely place of dying, where like he passes, right? To several years later when Judd Winnick takes over and decides he wants to create this Red Hood character, based off of the story that Jeff Loeb tells in Hush, where Hush reveals himself and, oh no, he's Jason Todd, except he isn't. He's Clayface disguising himself as Jason Todd.
Yeah, you talk about an ass whooping like Batman probably gave him in real life.
Yeah.
After showing your kind of basically dead son.
Oh yeah, man. Like that's one of the moments where, again, that's one of my favorite Batman stories is in general. But
Hush is a messed up villain, but
yeah. To sit there and yeah, man, like to play those tricks with Bruce and then
with Batman
reveal
himself
at the end, yeah, and then reveal at the end, kind of, oh, I'm this kid, I'm the biggest failure you've ever suffered.
And you
Ultimately,
just bring it up, and he's already dealing with it still to this day, like all the like
right?
darkness of it. And you're like, hey, just reminder.
Yeah, awful stuff. Um,
Batman Beyond, though, if you remember, that was they say that's a kid show. I don't believe that's a kid show.
oh no, oh not at all,
I've
not
recently
at
seen
all.
that like a meme talking about like people say let's make a kid show after Batman anime series. Talk about Batman Beyond. And you
Yeah.
see some of the scenes, like you
Oh
remember
man.
Bane's fate if you remember that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Terry McGinnis is an amazing character.
Right.
And Will Friedle, who played him, another one of my freaking heroes, man. Me and my partner were actually we're going back and we're watching like all of Boy Meets World, and watching him be in that as like the stupid brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then juxtaposed with who he plays in Batman Beyond is,
And you're like looking at it, you're like, wow.
yeah, that's crazy. He really boils down who Batman is to like a finer point, and he doesn't have Kevin Conroy's voice, right?
No.
But he knows the character, and oh man, it's one of my favorite performances of Batman ever.
Right.
Outside of Kevin Conroy's, it's
Of
fantastic.
course.
Yeah,
And my favorite, if I must say, is Deadpool, because he's
yeah,
unpredictable.
yeah,
I,
absolutely.
I like Nolan North's portrayal of him
Oh yeah.
for the video game, man. Like it was just funny as hell. And
Yeah,
all of a sudden, what else? Black suit symbiote Spider Man.
yep,
Uh,
absolutely. Bully
and
Maguire.
yeah, oh yeah, the Bully McGuire. Man, let me tell you, like you wish, like so many characters like Batman and Daredevil, they won't kill you, but you wish you were dead after you see the hospital bill. That's gonna kill you.
Yeah. 100%.
But no, then the third one it has to be Red Hood, man, from Batman's side of the story.
Yeah. I mean, he's phenomenal. Under the Red Hood, the animated film and also the comic book, but the
Mhm.
animated film especially for me was really awesome.
It was.
Joe DiMaggio or John DiMaggio as the Joker, Jensen Ackles as Jason Todd. I mean, like just
The array of
amazing
actors you
performances.
have.
Yeah, man, amazing. There is that one funny scene, and I just realized it because I saw it on Twitter recently. There's this scene where like they're fighting and they get thrown into a bathroom, and
Mhm.
somebody on Twitter was just like, "Just so you know, this bathroom does not have any doors built into it." And it's like you look and it's like one wall, two wall, three wall. There's no doors to get into this restroom. You have to get in through the skylight. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. So funny, but it works for that scene and it makes total sense. Amazing performances and amazing depiction of that character. If there's one character I think I'd love to play
Mhm.
before my career ends, I know I've gotten to play Bane and I can't, be choosy and pick another one out
Yeah.
of the DC universe, but Red Hood, man, Jason Todd,
Yeah.
I'd love to tackle that character.
Do you have like a specific quote that you like from the Red Hood like media? And if you could give everyone, the fans, the audience, your portrayal of Red Hood,
Okay.
your pick.
Let's see. There's one that I know. I don't know if I know it off the top of my head, but um let me look up the quote and I can give you my version of it just for funds.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. I've got to do so much scrolling. Ask me another question while I scroll for this.
Okay. But no, like what? Let me see. But no, like you've done so much for like some of the animes and everything. Like I was gonna ask you before this, what is some of your very like things you would like to do in the future for roles other than Red Hood?
Oh man, anything. I truly I can't be picky, man. I've done so much amazing stuff through my career
That you're
that
satisfied.
I mean, satisfied is an interesting way to put it. I would say it's just I've been very fortunate,
Yes.
and so um, asking for anything else at this point feels like kind of gilding the lily, right? Like I've
Like
gotten to do
greedy,
so
like
much that anything after this is really just a bonus. Yeah, anything after this is just it's a bonus, it's an extra, right? Like I've
yeah.
done so much stuff now that I've gotten to make a career. I've gotten to have longevity, which isn't always the case for a lot of people in this industry.
Right. You were
Um,
blessed, basically. You were blessed with these greatness of roles and a variety of them at that.
right, exactly. So, I mean, I'd love to tackle heavier stuff. I'd love to tackle characters that kind of stick around a little bit longer, maybe.
Yeah.
But really, man, like being able to do this for another 10, 20 years, that's
That's
kind
the
of the
gift
hope.
itself.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um I think I have found it. Let me just double
Okay.
check here. Um yeah, I think this is it. There's a lot of in between here, so I'm gonna just kind of turn it
Okay.
into a little monologue, and kind of let it finish. But
All right.
you let me know when you're ready, I suppose.
I'm ready. I'm here listening to your pitch.
Okay, my pitch. Yeah. This is my official pitch to DC Studios. All right. Is that what you think this is about? That you let me die? I don't know what clouds your judgment worse, your guilt or your antiquated sense of morality. Bruce, I forgive you for not saving me. But why? Why on God's earth is he still alive? Ignoring what he's done in the past? Blindly, stupidly disregarding the entire graveyards he's filled, the thousands who have suffered, the friends he's crippled. You know, I thought I'd be the last person you'd ever let him hurt. If it had been you that he beat to a bloody pulp, if he had taken you from this world, I would have done nothing but search the planet for this pathetic pile of evil, death-worshipping garbage and sent him off to hell. And that's my pitch.
Damn. That's all I can say on that. Damn.
Thanks, man.
But no, I think we're at our mark on the
Right on.
interview. But
Cool.
uh, like I said, I would love to have you back on in the future for your
Oh, of
upcoming
course.
roles. And I'm glad that we got to talk about the nerdy side of you and the behind the scenes on some of your various roles. And
Sure, man.
it was an honor meeting you,
Oh, thanks, brother. The honor's all mine. Thanks for having me.
of course. And all the geeks and nerds, go watch everything he's in, man, because
Oh,
you just
good luck.
heard some of his pitches and all the stuff that he was talking about on here. So make sure to check them out, like Go Loser Rangers, uh, and Fight Girl, Street Fighter 6. I know y'all played that. And
Don't hurt yourselves. Don't hurt yourselves. It's a lot of stuff.
oh yeah, it's a lot of stuff. And also Bane. But yeah, we're if y'all like the Geeky Nerd content, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you on the flip side.